the very oldest language on the face of this very earth. Chiko dikabia mapuni nini chineke n'oge ndị nsọ na-efewe na isi ala niile ị na-agọzi aha nsọ ya mgbe niile. Onye anyị na-aja mma wee anyị anaghị efe arụsị, ọ bụ naanị gị onye kere ihe niile ekere eke mana ọbụla onye kere ya. Ọ bụ ya mere ndị nsọ na-ekiri ha na isi ala niile, ọbụladị ndị okenye ndị na-atụ ọla edo na ha na-esi ndị nsọ n'ụtụtụ a ehihie abalị n'ụwa niile wee na-arịọ gị mma anyị wee na-arịọ gị ezi ebube gị ngozi tinye ọgbara n'etiti ndị iro ka ha rapụ ndị anyị onye bụ nna Chineke na ndị nsọ ka aka nsị ndị ga-ebu wee baa ise obodo kwesịrị isi wee laa ya n'ihi anyị wee na-arịọ gị onye na-adịgide maka oge ebili biko nke iwe mee ka Biafra wee dị ọsọ ọsọ na nkede na ụmụ ha daba na ahụ anyị wee na-arịọ gị iwe na-adịzi elekọta nwanne na nwanne ibi ịhụnanya nke pụrụ iche onye iwe etinye ụmụ ya ezi mmụọ nke isi ga anyị aka ajọ ihe mmụọ ndụ anyị gọzie aha nsọ isi ala bulie aha nsọ n'elu ise.
But you know what? I would like you to believe that Amalgamation is the cause of it. No. I am the solution, and the only way they can get to you is by kicking me out, which is not possible. I have come. Look with you. After I am done with Nigeria, Biafra will be free and enjoy freedom. Biafra will know the importance of freedom and what I'm doing in 5 years to come. Thank you.
The very oldest language on the face of this very earth. Chiko dikabia mapuni nini Chineke n'oge ndị nsọ na-efewe na isi ala niile ị na-agọzi aha nsọ ya mgbe niile. Onye anyị na-aja mma wee anyị anaghị efe arụsị, ọ bụ naanị gị onye kere ihe niile ekere eke mana ọbụla onye kere ya. Ọ bụ ya mere ndị nsọ na-ekiri ha na isi ala niile, ọbụladị ndị okenye ndị na-atụ ọla edo na ha na-esi ndị nsọ n'ụtụtụ a ehihie abalị n'ụwa niile wee na-arịọ gị mma anyị wee na-arịọ gị ezi ebube gị ngozi tinye ọgbara n'etiti ndị iro ka ha rapụ ndị anyị onye bụ nna Chineke na ndị nsọ ka aka nsị ndị ga-ebu wee baa ise obodo kwesịrị isi wee laa ya n'ihi anyị wee na-arịọ gị onye na-adịgide maka oge ebili biko ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee dị ọsọ ọsọ na nketa na ụmụ ha atakwa na ahụ anyị wee na-arụzi igwe na nlekọta nwanne na nwanne ibe ịhụnanya nke pụrụ iche onye iwe etinye ụmụ ihe ezi mmụọ nke eziokwu wezụga anyị aka ajọ ihe niile ndụ anyị gọzie aha nsọ isi ala bulie aha nsọ n'elu ise ise ise.
But you know what? They would like you to believe that Amalgamation is the cause of it. No. I am the solution, and the only way they can get to you is by kicking me out, which is not possible. I have come. Look with you. After I am done with Nigeria, Biafra will be free and enjoy freedom. Biafra will know the importance of freedom and what happens in 5 years to come. Thank you.
Breaking news reaching us now, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been arrested, extradited to Nigeria, and is right now being arraigned at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Kanu is facing charges bordering on treasonable felony instituted against him at the Federal High Court.
It was an unjust war.
Long ago, in the heart of Biafra, a nation was born from the ashes of war. A war that scarred the land and its people, yet it never killed the spirit of freedom.
The war aim of Biafra is purely to prevent ourselves being slaughtered, nothing more.
It was in this land, scarred by conflict, that Nnamdi Kanu was born, a son destined to revive the dream of independence for Biafra.
And if anybody is going to judge our success and failure in this war, it will have to depend on how much we have prevented the enemy from killing us.
Raised with the echoes of his ancestors' struggles, Kanu understood that the wounds of war ran deep in the hearts of his people. The scars from the Biafran War, which ravaged the land and cost countless lives, had never healed. The dream of an independent Biafra, broken but not forgotten, lived on in the hearts of those who survived. It was these voices, these memories, that called him to action. As Nnamdi Kanu grew, so did his voice. He became a preacher of justice, a messenger for those who were unheard. He spoke not just for his generation, but for all those whose lives were shattered by the war. The pain of the past was alive within him, and his words resonated with the cries of the oppressed. But as Kanu's message spread, so did the fear of the establishment. His calls for self-determination grew louder, shaking the very foundations of the government. They feared the revival of a Biafran spirit, one that could awaken the wounds of the past and ignite a new conflict. And so, they moved against him. Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, his body captured, but his spirit unbroken. The authorities believed that imprisoning him would extinguish the fire he had started. But they failed to understand the depths of his cause. The pain of the war, the bloodshed of the past, was not something easily forgotten. It was a flame that could never be fully extinguished. His arrest became a symbol of the struggle that began in the blood-soaked fields of the Biafran War. The demand for freedom was still alive. The fight for justice continued, not just for Nnamdi Kanu, but for all the lives lost, for all the children born into a world of scars. The fight for Biafra is not just his fight. It is the fight of all those who have ever dreamed of a free land. And though the past may haunt the present, the future is still unwritten. As long as the story of Nnamdi Kanu is told, as long as the voices of his people rise, the dream of Biafra lives on. Arrested again, 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 and yet again.
I agitate for Biafra. I agitate for Biafra, my right to agitate, my right. They turned it from reasonable felony now to terrorism.
This is Nnamdi Kanu speaking. Biafra land, listen. They thought they could silence me, but they didn't just cage me. They caged your spirit. They made you forget that our land still bleeds, that our people still suffer, that nothing has changed. 5 years in chains. But what about you? Are you not free? Or have they bound your voice with fear? The struggle was never about me, it was about you, your children, your land, your future. So I ask you, where is the fire that once burned in your heart? Where is the voice that once roared for freedom? Wake up! Rise again. Speak. Act. Remember who you are. This is Nnamdi Kanu.
Welcome each and every one of you. And before we proceed, we are going to pray. As it is usual with us here on this platform, we pray because we are nothing without the Almighty. We are going to offer praise and adoration to Him as always. And I will, of course, should I say, unfailingly pray in the language of heaven. Some may misunderstand, some of them may try to misconstrue, but one thing is certain right now, in the presence of the Almighty God, Elohim, Adonai, El Shaddai in heaven, the angels are singing, worshiping, and praising the Most High with the very oldest language on the face of this very earth, the Igbo language. And that's how I'm going to pray. Ezi onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-efe na-agọzi aha nsọ ya, onye ọ bụla ya na-achị, onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-erubere isi, onye ọ bụla ya bụ ọka aka ụbọchị ene ka anyị na-etu gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ, ndị gboo wee tuo gị ebighị ebi, onye nwe m, ụmụ gị wee gbakọọ n'ụwa niile iwe nara ozi ọma nke gị onwe gị n'ezi ha site n'ọnụ mmadụ dị ndụ nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-asị na onweghị ihe ọbụla nke anyị onwe anyị bụ n'ihi na ọ bụ anụkpa ahụ sọsọ ka mmadụ dị ndụ bụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ, maka na okwu nsọ gị na-adịrị ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi, n'ihi na okwu gị niile ga-abịarịrị na mmezu. Ọ bịa mere Biafra ga-eji wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị wee na-arịọ gị na-asị lekwa ude nke anyị na-asụ n'akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka o metụta gị n'obi. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, biko dịka isi wee napụta ụmụ gị n'ọbụ n'Ijipt kwetu wee wezuga ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra mgbe ekwensu bụ zuu nke mmadụ dị ndụ kere, anyị wee na-aja gị mma na-asị gị n'ime ọnọdụ anyị anyị ga-ekele ha nsọ gị, wee nye gị nsọpụrụ n'ụtụ na ịja mma mgbe niile, n'ihi na anyị enweghị chi ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị onwe anyị anaghị efe arụsị. Ọbịa mere iji wee na-agọzi nzọmụkwụ anyị niile. Ọbịa mere IPOB ji wee gbaa mgbọrọgwụ n'ụwa niile. Anyị anaghị atụ egwu mmadụ dị ndụ. Anyị wee na-eto gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, sị gị biko gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka. Ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye anyị na-efe nwanyị akpụ isi ala nye ka i wee napụta ndị gị n'ọbụ nke ekwensu. Anyị wee na-enye gị ofe na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma, na-asị lekwa ka ndị iro anyị niile ka kasisi wee baa ha ọnụ, ha wee daa hapụghị ikoni ọzọ. Obodo ekwensu bụ zu ala nwekwa n'iyi eze ebube dị ngọzi. Anya ọnwa anyị bụ ụmụ gị wee na-akpọkwa ha nsọ gị, na-asị na enweghị chi ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma wee na-eto gị, na-asị onye kere ihe niile kere mana onwe onye kere na n'otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile na ịja mma niile site n'ebighị ebi, mara onye ebighị ka a na-arịọ gị. Ise ise ise. Having handed over our proceedings to heaven, we must therefore proceed unfailingly and very speedily to preach this very gospel that we have been mandated to preach this very day.
And God will destroy the black race. We shall remain slaves to the wise forever and ever. As long as we continue to reason this wickedly, it can never be well with black people. I tell you, we are evil. The man is blind in one. There is no compassion. No single compassion. Nobody is moved by the plight of this man. All you out is a ram. You think about shit. What nonsense? What planet are you living on? Blacks are to blame. Your so-called Nigerians are to blame for this very mess. So also is the American ambassador to Nigeria. So also is the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. These are the people supporting evil. When Obama came to remove Jonathan, and I told you, Jonathan, and Jonathan was moved. People will come into my village, rape my mother, slaughter us, and they give them land. Somebody is simply protesting, release my leader, not that they're protesting against any court order or court ruling or judgment. They are asking you to obey what your court said. You refused. You responded by killing them. And you went back to the same court, the same Federal High Court of Nigeria, in the same Abuja to go and obtain an order proscribing his group. The same law, the same judgment you said you will not obey. You mean that Nigeria is a nation, that Nigeria is a country? This COG, black people. Do you not begin to see the reason why God looked at us and said, you people are evil? Because of that, I'll make you slaves to whites. Do you see why we are suffering? Because your heart is evil. You don't reason are people who can, because Yoruba media wants 2023 for Tinubu to be president, they condone every evil. And if Yoruba nation does not take time, I tell you tonight that evil shall never come in Yoruba land. I say what I say with justification. I will read the coverage of Punch newspaper. Punch newspaper, Yoruba paper. Oh God, you people are satanic. You are evil, the personification of the forces of darkness. You people are evil. Evil. Evil is happening and you keep quiet. You cannot confront Fulani headsmen. Oh, Chinagana. I don't know why God brought me to Africa. I don't know why. I should have come as a tree in the forest. Maybe they cut me down and use me as for center table. I'll be useful at least. Do you see why God said you must be under Europeans? Asia is progressing. South America is progressing. The only place not growing in the world is Africa, because you people are evil. You support evil. Your heart is black as we are. Evil, darkness. Ochichere, you are in a country where your so-called president from Sudan decides which judge am I going to obey. I don't like this ruling, I want to obey it. I like this one, let me obey it. And you people are keeping quiet. You are quiet and evil is happening. And you're telling me you're educated. You're telling me you have conscience. And tomorrow you go to church. Oh, dear me. This assignment is too much. I tell Elohim, it's too much for me. I cannot come from a continent where people cannot reason, where there is no conscience, where wickedness and evil is the order of the day. The black race is a disgrace to humanity. The black race is an eyesore on this very earth, I tell you that. It's an eyesore. You know your name, but evil is happening and you're quiet. Because Zagzag is not your brother, not your sister. Do you know how people feel about your religion? Do you know how they feel about you and your religion? People will have the guts in America to complain about racist attacks. Oh, that the West are attacking with the racist. I wish they can kill all of us there, I'm telling you the truth. We don't deserve to be alive. Black people do not deserve to walk. We are a stain on the earth. Our wickedness stinks to high heavens and back. We are an evil race. Quote me, that's what I said. Mark the date of today. In any other country on this earth, what Jibril did, we will send him back to Sudan immediately. How can you decide which judge to obey? That idiot that didn't go to school. Malami is saying, if not for what I've been doing, detaining people without trial, there will be no Nigeria. Nigeria for whose benefit? For your benefit and for some Yoruba people. For the benefit of those that make billions from oil and gas from Biafra land. That's all. That some idiots are too blind to say it. They say I should speak like a head of state. Which stupid head of state is that? Which useless head of state is that? In a place where people cannot reason like human beings. You know my head of state. Oh dear Lord, have mercy. We are an evil race. Anytime you see another black person being killed in America, know that God is punishing you for what you have done because you're evil. Evil beyond evil, I'm telling you. And who brought this nonsense on us? It's not Obama. It's not a black man. Who brought this mess into this? Is Obama. Isn't it? And they ran to the British to sustain what is unsustainable. Everybody knows that Buhari is dead. They know it. Everybody knows. Yoruba media knows. Everybody knows. But because you don't want the Kanu to be proven right, you don't want IPOB to be proven right, you have decided to cover up evil. It will consume you. Yoruba media will suffer. Yoruba media will suffer. They will suffer and they will suffer for this injustice they keep on against ordinary people. Poor people. In your journey, my banquet, because you control newspaper. Your preachers are in Pentecostal churches. They tell the idiots what to do and they obey them. They cannot rise up from the pulpit and speak the truth. Because Zagzag is not a Christian, he's not a Pentecostalist. Because let's leave him to die. You are evil. You are beyond evil. We are a useless race. Black race is a disgrace on humanity. White people can never allow such nonsense to happen. It doesn't. If everybody will die, they can't allow it to. That's the difference between you and whites. Whites cannot allow this nonsense to happen. It won't happen. Don't tell me about cases during slavery. It was our idiotic ignorance and wickedness that allowed God to hand us over to whites to enslave us. We are wicked. We are a wicked race. That is why we are suffering. Dara. I must continue because the truth must be spoken on this very platform. Your Zoo Constitution guarantees freedom. Freedom of worship, freedom of speech. The right to even protest is there. They don't obey their own laws because they don't know. When you appoint a chief justice who is more or less how can I put it? Permanent tapa. How can I myself like a native doctor? This is the nonsense you get. Now you're telling me in a country that claims it practices democracy that you can choose which of the judges to obey his or her ruling and which one to ignore. Is that what you're telling me? The same court you said I will not obey your order. You went back to the same court to go and obtain an order to keep somebody in prison in perpetuity and to ban his movement. Hey, we blacks have taken wickedness and impunity to a different level altogether. That is what we have done. We have redefined wickedness. I never believed in my life that Africa can be so, not just back, of course we're backwards. Who doesn't know we're backwards? We have added another layer of evil to it. No wonder Michael Jackson was bleaching himself to be white. I do apologize to Michael. I have now seen what he saw. Michael Jackson was trying to make himself white because he looked at us and knew that we are evil. This Yoji, evil upon evil. You claim you're fighting corruption. All those you are appointed are corrupt individuals. Buhari, before he died, they got into power on the back of corrupt money, River State money stolen by Amici. Today, Buhari's son is the fourth richest person in Africa. And they're fighting corruption. You people are useless. Hopeless to the core. Quote me right is what I said. You're hopeless. Shia group IMN, Islamic Movement of Nigeria, or for Nigeria, I don't know what they call them, is not a terrorist group. It is not and can never be. For all that nonsense, people saying that tied to Iran and all that rubbish, that is bunkum. El Zagzagi, what crime did he commit? We shall get to that later. There is no other place on this earth that a religious body has ever been prescribed. Never. Not on this earth. All this nonsense with Shia and the Sunni Islam is their business. Nothing to do with the secular constitution. So when Jubril and when Abba Kyari and El Rufai crosses up to Saudi Arabia, don't you see it? When Obama was bowing before the king of Saudi Arabia, did you not see it? Did not see it. I'm sure you didn't. You people are cowards. There is no place on this earth, not even in Saudi Arabia, can you ban? Do you know they have Shia in Saudi Arabia? Have they been banned? How can you go and take a leader of a movement and you expect them to keep quiet, like other people are keeping quiet? That's what you expect. You bring your wickedness and injustice upon the people and you expect them to just sit down and take it. The answer is no. Like IPOB, we won't take it. We will keep on agitating until we are free. Because one day everybody will die, isn't it? Nobody lives forever. Nobody does. So Biafra must come. The blame for what is happening, I don't call it zigzagging. The blame for the injustice in the zoo that the British created is caused by 3 groups of people, only 3. Our stupidity as black people, the British High Commission and the British mission in Nigeria is satanic. Another one is the American ambassador to Nigeria. They collect money from Nigerian government not to send the accurate report back to their home countries. I bet you that the State Department in America does not know what is happening in the zoo because they embellish it. Is farmer header crisis, is a clash. The police and the army came shooting dead Shia protesters. And you call it a clash between the two. A whole ambassador, American ambassador, is sending back, feeding the State Department in Washington lies about Nigeria. Because he's a millionaire. The same thing with the British. This is the level of evil and wickedness we have. American embassy in Nigeria, British High Commission in Nigeria, and the stupidity of black people. We are black and we are useless. Those are the 3 factors holding you down as a perpetual slave. I didn't say it's the American official policy or the British official policy. No. I said their missions in Nigeria. The American ambassador is corrupt. The British High Commissioner is more than corrupt. Nigeria, they should be probed. Nigeria gives them money to lie and to falsify their mission reports back to their home countries. If you ask them now, they'll write, when ask them, what are you doing about El Zagzagi? No, I think we sense some trouble. There may be a link with Iran. There may be a link. All lies. All lies. The U.S. Embassy takes the blame for the mission and the stupidity of us black people, black Africans. We are useless. Stop pretending we are more than hopeless. Forget all the degrees, PhD, SSG, rubbish. We are useless. Useless. As black people, our natural disposition towards evil, we love evil. This type of nonsense cannot happen in a white man's. It's impossible. You can't try that rubbish. I'm the prime minister, or as Trump is. You choose which laws to obey, which one. They will come to White House and control you out. They said they will bundle you, they will put handcuffs on your ankles and your wrist. In your next life, you won't mess up. You won't mess with the people. That's how it's done. Do you see how advanced whites are compared to you blacks? Because, when you go to the court sometimes, some of you see the picture of a woman or statue. The woman is blind with a blindfold, with the scale on one hand and sword on the other hand. Some of you go to law school, you don't know what that thing means. They just say, they say law is blind. And look at the idiots. Do you know why they say it's blind? Because justice is blind. It doesn't matter who is affected. It doesn't, It doesn't matter if it's a share or IPOP or whoever. It doesn't matter. The law is the law. So when somebody who is a Sunni Muslim gets favorable ruling in the court, they release them. Those doing the killing in the zoo, they are all Sunni, Wahhabi, fundamentalists. It's okay. Give them more land. Why don't you dialogue with them? But once it's Shia. Oh, IPOB, why didn't you go and kill them? After all, the American ambassador will say it's nothing. And that's what they do. Do you know before they came to invade my house that the British government was informed and they came to go ahead to come and kill me? Are you aware of that? So I'm telling you live on air. Are you aware that the British government, the British High Commission in Nigeria, sanctioned my assassination? Are you aware of that? In time, all will be revealed. Our natural disposition towards evil and wickedness is why a Sudanese can do whatever he likes. Jubilee Sudan. Everybody knows he's from Sudan. Look at him and look at Buhari, and you will know. But your stupidity and your natural cowardice. You're a black person, you cannot reason. This OG, black and useless. Black and useless. We are black and we are useless to the core. If you support evil, anything I say about you, you should accept it with good reason. I'm telling you. How did it all begin? Some of you may ask this evening. How did we come to this stage of rejecting one judgment but accepting another from the same court, depending on the judge who is ruling in your favor? 7 out of 8 children of Zagzagi has been murdered by Nigerian state. And you're telling me he doesn't have the right to be angry? But you won't see anything wrong with it because you're black. Anytime you go on social media, you see somebody not making any sense, that person is probably a black person. According to my dear friend and brother, I'm borrowing what he wrote because it's correct. Fanika Yode. I'm borrowing what he wrote. You shot his wife in the stomach. The wife was shot 4 times. And has been in detention till now. Not just like that, even the wife is also in detention. This man was shot and blinded in one eye. Zagzagi. It doesn't touch you because you're black. You know, as a black person, your heart is cold. Cold and blind to light. Because you're black from Africa. You are evil. You don't empathize. There is no empathy. You don't see. All you care about is, who is winning? So since the Fulanis are now killing everybody and they're on top, let me support Fulani. You have no soul and you have no conscience. That is why God placed you. I'm asking God, but what did I do? Why take me to Africa? I'm still thinking and asking God, what did I do? Because I am better off as something that could be useful to humanity. We black are useful to mankind. We are a waste of space. We are clogging up space for mankind. I'm telling you the truth. We are useless. You did all this to this man and you think you will succeed. What is the crime of Sheikh El Zagzagi? You bring out, he had the same thing you did when I found BSS. He said, can you see them? Can you see them? But you cannot see funny headsmen. You can't see them. They're the ones killing you and raping you every day. But you never learn. Because you're black and you're timid. I'm so upset tonight. I wouldn't normally do a program like this, but I am enraged. Enraged. Africa is a disgrace. Trump was said he was going to, what he said, he's going to deport people from America. He should start very, very quickly.
For our freedom. I want you to understand that Nigeria impacted you, impacted your life, and today you branded with so many negative names to the point that you are scared of your own freedom because of the negative impact of Fulani government policies in your life. Only Biafra can solve this problem. That as Biafra using Nigerian passport, you are treated as a criminal or as a terrorist, while you are not one of them. Yet, your low self-esteem could not allow you to support Biafra. You are scared of what Biafra would be. You are scared of the lies and the propaganda that they manipulated you into. I want every one of you watching me today on this State of the Nation broadcast to think that the impact of tunnel vision focus on the negative and how this can make matters worse than they are. They create more stress. They create more stress, increase insecurity, and we end up engaging in behaviors that are ultimately disconnected from our values. Today, some of you have completely disconnected, even with your so low self-esteem and your insecurity on supporting Biafra. You have been disconnected from the value that made you who you are as a Biafran. Yes, a vicious circle. Nigeria has given all this as a failed state. What I'm telling you today is fact. We do not mince words. Nigeria has given all these things I've said as a failed state. This is the impact of Nigeria in your life. A failed state. Today, when the Fulani terrorists were attacking Abuja, all of you were running scatter. Some of you that built one bacha in Abuja, in the area where they attacked, you ran for your life. And the government were not there to help you. Because I want you to understand that no, the presence of Biafrans in that area are much. Just the way when they attacked church in Yoruba land, all of you were shouting, they have attacked Yoruba, they have attacked Yoruba church. Do you know the number of Biafrans that were casualties or victims in that church attack is higher than the number of Yorubas? Have you forgotten that almost all the people that were interviewed as a victim of that church attack were all Biafrans? Igbo speaking Biafrans. Are you not aware? That is why we are now addressing every Biafran across Nigeria. A failed state without strong governance that plunged into disorder. Nigeria is an example of that. Violence and sponsoring terrorism against its own people and citizens. Nigeria, being a failed state, must end by 2023 because we have seen that failing state can quickly become a threat to international security, be it by exporting drugs or by becoming a safe haven for terrorists. Nigeria, as today, has become a safe haven for terrorists. It's a place where the capital of the country will be attacked, under heavy attack, and no resistance. It means that Nigeria has become a safe haven for terrorists. And that is a threat to America. It's a threat to the Western world. When one of the generals from the United States was making speech a few years ago that the terrorists are trying to create safe haven in Nigeria, and after that, they are going to attack America. Little did he know, with all their intelligence everywhere, that Nigeria has actually become a safe haven for terrorists. Up to the point that the president of the country has been threatened that he's going to be kidnapped. Up to the point that impeachment proceeding or motion were raised at the National Assembly, only for the Senate president, who is also a Fulani and part of the sponsor of these jihadists, and this colonization turned it down up to the point that the opposition senators walked away from the National Assembly. The country is in chaos, failed state. And we have come to change the script. Those of them who thought they have something impact to make in the National Assembly, when they tell you Peter Obi should go and become president, I want to ask you today, how would Peter Obi impact and change Nigeria when the Senate president will become a Fulani and the people that are going to be at the National Assembly are bigger in number from the north, from the Fulani, than the people of the secular side? How will you change the system? For those of you who do not understand, I want you to know that the 12 states of northern Nigeria that are under Sharia law, they are all Muslim representative. No Christian will be voted to come to Abuja to represent those states that practice Sharia law. Are you aware of that? If you have any of that from the 12 northern states that practice Sharia law, if you have any Christian as a senator, come and show it to me. Now, we must end this in 2023. The terrorists collaborate with the other Nigerian security agencies to carry out their terrorist attack, like what you saw in Abuja last night. They kidnapped just 2 kilometers away from the military checkpoint across Nigeria. And this is no longer issue that anybody will doubt. So what has your low self-esteem Nigeria impacted on you or in you? How have that affected the situation? They are now threatening to kidnap the fake president of Nigeria and has waged war against the capital of Nigeria called Abuja. With all this fact I have said so far, it is clear that Nigeria has become a safe haven for terrorists and has posed a serious threat to international security. I want to also remind you, the proliferation of terrorists or the upsurge of terrorists is not far from the call the fake president made while he was in Egypt. He made a call calling all the terrorists in Africa, all Fulani in Africa, to come to Nigeria without a visa. In validation to the fact that Fulani claim that Nigeria belongs to them. They claim and they opened the door for all the terrorists from all other Northern Africa to enter Nigeria, and today they have arrived. They have arrived. But you continue to talk about P2P and election. They have arrived. But you continue to live on the script given to you. The script is changing. Are you aware of that? But with a new breed of terrorists sponsored by the government who are willing to inflict mass casualties on our society. People here to call for that urgency. Network must be on daily basis. Everybody must now change this particular script and channel your tithe and everything to funding of the Eastern Security Network. Our own security. I want you, those of you who are shouting, as your village in any you think in Abuja the army could not stand them? Is it in Anambra army is going to stand them? The Eastern Security Network Having watched this, who do you think will stand these people? You think when they can operate freely in Abuja, a whole Abuja, is it in Anambra that a military man will come to stand them? Is it in Ebonyi State that a man will come, that police will come and stand them? Is it in Enugu State? The answer is no. And so who is going to stand against these people when they come? The same Eastern Security Network we are raising funds for. So from this video, what conclusion are we to draw from the new security environment in Biafra land? What is our conclusion? What should we in effect, or what should we have in an effective security strategy? Look like some of you will begin to get your sense back. Let me give you a few pointers. First, I believe that any security strategy today has to do or has to be a very strategic or strategy of engagement. Either we tackle these challenges to our security when and where they emerge. We tackle it wherever they emerge. Or they will end up on our doorstep. Today, after the attack in Abuja yesterday, it has become imperative for this particular state of the nation broadcast that if you are not yet part of funding the Eastern Security Network, the time is now. Otherwise, it may be in your doorstep. Because Nigeria security agencies are part of them. And if you think that when this happens in Biafra land, all these governors will come and ask military to come and you are just living in full paradise. So, Ebubago military has been confirmed to be criminals from across other ethnic nationalities, and even Fulanis are now in Ebubago, in our own Biafra land. A Fulani man has become Ebubago. This is fact. And we must deal with it decisively. Our first priority now is to wipe Ebubago out of Biafra land, anywhere they are. That is number one move. Ebubago have never been seen engaging any herdsmen with AK-47. Ebubago has never been seen engaging anybody that has gone as a Fulani terrorist. Rather, Ebubago was formed to hunt Eastern Security Network, and we have openly declared that war. It is going to be between us and Ebubago, even though it is going to be a little bit distraction. Because, you know, it is part of the war game. The war game is that you try as much as possible to distract your enemy. So, governors in the southeast who are supporting Ebubago, they are our number one enemy. Because the people they recruited into Ebubago are not Biafrans. Those in the Igbo-speaking part of Biafra land, they are not Igbo-speaking. So what they do, they give them money and say, go after Biafra agitators. So you have come to understand today that Ebubago is never in any way to combat any terrorist attack or to combat any Fulani herdsmen carrying AK-47 or to do any other thing other than to look for Eastern Security Network and our young men and youth. So our focus, not all focus, we partly go to Ebubago. We're going to wipe them out of Biafra land. It is part of the script we are going to rewrite. I want you to understand that the second thing that is going to be my point at this evening, we need to look at the security today in a holistic fashion. In an age where security challenges have become multidimensional, our response must be multidimensional as well. We see today that the kidnappers are kidnapping people just 2 kilometers away from the military checkpoint. Soludo also have bragged that branded all manner of names against Eastern Security Network and agitators. He called them kidnappers, he called them criminals. But Soludo vigilante second in command or a commander has been arrested for kidnapping. Did you see Soludo coming to social media to talk about that his own vigilante, Anambra vigilante, were arrested for kidnapping? No. This brings me directly to my third point. Any viable security strategy today must be a strategy of group teamwork. No single agitating group possesses all the necessary means for effective security or for effective security management. In our land today, Eastern Security Network need your support. And it needs the support of all groups to combat these terrorists. Only through cooperation, alliances, will the full range of the instrument be available to us. And of course, we do not want the presence of military in our land going forward. They also become our enemy because the military have proven and have shown their unpreparedness, and then also those who have alliances with these terrorists, they have shielded them while they attack and kidnap our people. My fourth point, a strategy of engagement required not only a variety of instruments, but also patience in applying them. That is why we are working assiduously every day and night with Umada, chaired by Madam Azoka Charles Nwankwo. We apply the highest level of patience while dealing with these challenges we are facing. We engage and we also engage. We need to keep up our engagement. If we want to change things for the better, we need to do more than provide armed security. We also need to assist in creating a conducive environment for long-term stability. This we have done by asking the leaders to pull out the military from our land to enable us face these terrorists that came to Abuja, that we'll see also, you will see them in Biafra land very soon. As you see them attacking Abuja today, do not think that they are far from your land. They are coming to you. When they are done with Abuja, you are next. Are you sure you can count on this military when that happens? Are you sure you can count on the military when that happens? The military that cannot protect Abuja from being under attack, the military that cannot stop them from kidnapping people from the railway, going from Abuja to Kaduna. Are you sure you can trust this military when that happens? Which brings me to my fourth and final point. A truly effective strategy of engagement, one that has a lasting impact, must be strategy that is firmly based on values. Value system. It has been the motto of Biafra. We value our lives and value ourselves. So our operational engagement must have the value system. And that Eastern Security Network has applied in the highest decorum. I want to inform you today, as we look forward to liberate Biafrans from Nigeria come 2023, where Biafra is going to be where democracy and freedom, human rights and religious tolerance are the key principles that we must never compromise. And this assurance we have given to international community, those who care to listen to us. There will not only be permanent features of our way of life in Biafra Republic, there will also provide our security policies with the moral compass. I want to inform you, these, in my view, are some of the key underlying principles for a strategy that seeks to address the insecurity in Biafra land. And I believe they explain why IPOB autopilot is so busy and why these alliances are in so much demand, because IPOB autopilot and ESN is able to make unique contribution to such broad strategy of engagement. Not as a police of Biafra, of course, but by making available certain measures in a way no other agitating group can or have ever done. This is because Biafra is here. One very strong measure or asset of that IPOB autopilot is to bring together all genuine agitating group before 2023. In IPOB autopilot under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, these groups sit around the same table trying to find consensus and develop common approach to defend Biafra and defend Biafra land and liberate Biafra people from Nigeria come 2023. This does not rule out occasional disagreement, but in the end, the culture of compromise and the habit of cooperation always prove stronger than our disagreement in the struggle. This deep-rooted sense of common purpose in getting Biafra liberated by 2023 has enabled the IPOB autopilot to engage in some of the most demanding engagement and to carry on even if the obstacle seemed insurmountable at times. This unique staying power is sometimes, or should I say, is something that only a permanent alliance can give you. Permanent alliance. It is tremendous measure and asset and something that we must preserve. Every alliances we have had so far must be preserved going forward as we are changing the script of Nigeria in your life. Over the past 1 year, IPOB autopilot has developed relation with dozens of Biafra diaspora groups in countries in Europe and beyond. These partnership or alliances, as you may call it, have thus created a cooperative momentum that has never before existed on this Biafra movement. We are now broadening this cooperation further by enhancing our cooperation with countries that seek our cooperation, but seeking nations and government support as well. I want to inform Biafrans today that the next big challenge ahead of us is to build more structured relationship with other international organizations and the policymakers. I want you to understand that here too, we have already made considerable stride. We are also looking at the full activation of the Biafra government in exile and looking forward to welcoming them on board. We look forward to this. We look forward to welcoming the Biafra government in exile. If it is going to be for the best interest of Biafra people and the liberation of Biafra and the freedom of Biafra, we look forward to that. At the same time, we are also looking forward to having Ekwenche on board. We are looking forward to having Ekwenche on board. This is necessary and it has become imperative. So those of you, the Ekwenche, if you are watching me today, you need to come on board. In a few weeks' time, we are going to create war council that will play a very strategic role in making sure that the terrorists coming to our land are defeated in short while. We are about to open a new chapter in the struggle for Biafra. Before I end this broadcast, irrespective of our differences, irrespective of our disagreement in any way we have, I will not finish this broadcast without acknowledging the progress of different groups so far. Like I said, so many groups have done tremendously very well. As we also have received the news from the United Nations, the comment on the release and demand for the release and immediate release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the UN Human Rights Group, the Biafra Working Group headed by Madam Bridget Okafor, and Madam Bridget Okafor and her gallant men working this stride to bring Bruce Fein to make this particular news that you see today happen. So irrespective of whatever differences there are in the struggle, we acknowledge the stride that they have achieved so far with the United Nations making the statement. We must focus on the armed struggle for Biafra at the same time, as we are using a holistic approach which must not be the same with other approach being used by different groups. You must respect and value each other's from their different perspectives. Our own perspective is that we are now in armed struggle. Those of you who value your political or diplomatic approach will continue with the diplomatic approach. Those of you who value your political approach should also continue with your political approach. Those of you who believe in judicial approach should also, or due process approach, should continue in your due process approach. While all this approach will come together and impact in the liberation of Biafra by 2023, our arms is up and we are not taking it down. We are taking up arms to defend our land against the impending danger that if we do not do that, we will all be wiped away and nobody will ask questions, and nobody will come for the aid of Biafra people. I must acknowledge them and her team that brought Bruce Fane. You all know that in the struggle for Biafra, Simon Ekpa has never been against anybody. Whoever that have anything to offer in the struggle, I stand on the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and it has always been whatever you know you can offer the Biafra struggle, you do it and come forward. If you have a group that such approach can work with, you go with it. We need to aim for a relationship that allow IPOB autopilot under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and other groups to discuss and coordinate their approach, not only with respect to insecurity in Biafra, but across a full spectrum of today's insecurity challenges or security challenges in Nigeria, and also the kinetic approach to Biafra liberation and Biafra exit from Nigeria. We acknowledge Umuada and their chairperson, Madam Azoka Charles Nwankwo, all the members of Umuada that I respect too much, from Madam Ifi to Barbara to Chichi to Maureen to Judith to Carolina to Blessing, to all these people, all these wonderful women that have worked assiduously for the past 1 year. And if I did not mention your name, you know that you are well acknowledged. Madam Erewa, thank you very much. Madam Erewa, who is the engine house, very wonderful and powerful woman, who I respect so much. And for those, if I didn't mention your name, I apologize for that. And Pastor Rose as well, you know, she have done her part and continue to do. I must acknowledge all of you for the wisdom, resilience, and the what you have displayed for the past few months of tribulation. I want to inform you all that unity is the key, irrespective of whatever differences we have. You must put Biafra first. We also know that a lot of people may not be very well pleased with our approach, but it is part of this game. And as we continue to broaden this relationship, building these alliances, because we know Biafra is coming in 2023, I have a special announcement for Biafra people this evening. Our special announcement today, as we advances, we hereby announce Mazi Ede as the entire coordinator for Northern Nigeria. You know yourselves, you know him. He will coordinate the entire Northern Nigeria. He has done it before. He will do it this time under autopiloted IPOB. For those of you who are waiting for him, this evening we have therefore activated his coordinatorship of the Northern Nigeria. This has become very imperative. So cut this particular session of this broadcast and circulate it to all Biafrans in the North, that from tonight they are coordinated by Mazi Ede, the uncompromised one. Fellow Biafrans, I am aware that not everyone might agree with this. For some differences may seem less risky than engagement. Some people may feel that they can afford to look away or concentrate on their immediate neighborhood. Because you may understand better than many others that is an age of Biafra struggle. No walls, mountain, or even ocean can stop us. A strategy of engagement guided by ourselves and our value is the only feasible way to approach Biafra liberation. And to face the insecurity in our land today. I want to inform you today that we will liberate Biafra from Nigeria come to
forever and ever. Only a revolution can solve this very problem, because under a revolution, the powers that be, those that be making your life a misery, will be overthrown. Nobody will say it's a coup anymore. It is called popular uprising. Don't let anybody deceive you. Don't let anybody deceive you. And that is why today some soldiers are listening and they are resigning from the army. How can you be a soldier in the Nigerian army and your village is being occupied by Fulani headsmen? Imagine those from Oyo or Ondo serving in the Nigerian army. These are my Yoruba brothers who are serving in the Nigerian army. You are from Yoruba, you are serving in the Nigerian army, doing one Nigeria. But your village is being occupied by a Fulani. The same people you are serving, or you claim you are serving, your village is under occupation by them. And to make matters worse, those you are serving under their flag, one Nigeria, and the Arabic inscription, or should I say the motto of Ottoman Danfodio, to tell you how foolish Nigerians are. You don't know that the Nigerian emblem, the army emblem of Nigeria, is the motto of Ottoman Danfodio that he used to conquer Hausa people. You don't know that it is there. That's what they're using. You're fighting under the banner of your conquerors. Maybe in Sambisa forest. And now they are sending their advanced strike force into your village. And you're doing one Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian soldier. I'm a Nigerian army. That is why I commend the 127 soldiers that have resigned so far from the army. If you don't do these things I'm asking you to do, you will, when the time comes, as I'm telling them now, remember 2015, remember 2014, remember 2013, I told you all these things. I told you what was going to happen, and now they have all happened before your eyes. You've seen it. I'm warning you now. If you're serving in the Nigerian army, and you think you're loyal to Buratai, you think I'm serving my Nigeria is not a fatherland or motherland to anybody. Nigeria is not a motherland or fatherland to anybody. Nigeria is purely a British creation. A British creation. Because if Nigeria was to be a nation or country, there is no way those that call themselves the presidency Asoro can come out to support illegality in Ondo State. Because they know they are doing it for that. Why do you think they want to avenge and revenge for Salmadu Bello? Why? They knew that Ahmadu Bello and his people, so to speak, were fighting for them. They understood that. At the time, the Hausa people thought that the Fulani was fighting for them, but today it's very clear. I asked you a simple question when I began. Are you hearing Hausa Fulani anymore? No, it's only Fulani, because they have taken over the entire corn off. That is one thing you need to understand. People must begin to appreciate this. If you are in the Nigerian army and you're serving the Nigerian army, you are only paving the way for the conquest of your village, the rape of your daughters, and the abduction of your mothers. I'm telling you this. You are in the Nigerian army, yes. But what the Fulanis have got in store for you is to overwhelm and to conquer you. I feel sorry for those of you who are so foolish that they cannot reason very well. There are people who are, I won't use too much grammar because a lot of people are watching, mothers are watching, grandmothers are watching in the villages. People who out of cowardice and self-hate think that Nigeria somehow can be won. But all of you know that Nigeria is an Islamic country. I'm sure you're aware of that. All of you also understand the intentions of the Fulani. Oh, if you want the presidency, you have to work for it. Tinubu, you must work for it. How is Tinubu working for it? You must condemn anybody who comes out to speak against our people in your forest. That is what they are doing. Some of you don't understand it, but we do. Some of you do not understand what is happening, but we do. And that is why we are here to tell you. The real terrorists in Asorok, they have dropped them. And now presidency is telling you, you cannot touch them. But these are people killing people in Yoruba forest. No, you cannot touch them. A whole presidency to tell you that every Fulani man is in on this. Their foot soldiers are Mieti Allah. Have you all forgotten that they gave Mieti Allah 100 billion? Have you all forgotten? No, typical Nigeria, nigger. Have you all forgotten? So you've forgotten that this so-called presidency, Garba Shehu, gave Mieti Allah 100 billion to come down to the south to give peanuts to useless monarchs and traditional rulers so that our forests can be taken. Have you all forgotten? Oh, you have. Of course, you're in the zoo. You've forgotten. Did they give 100 billion to any other organization? Did Asorok give 100 billion to any other group? Why would a government give 100 billion to a bunch of terrorists and openly claim that they are stakeholders in the government? That is why government can come out openly without shame to support terrorists in Yoruba forests. Let them come to our land and they will see. I know the game they are playing. There was this stupid video that is in circulation. You know that they can't attack ESN. They can't. They have no moral ground. But I'm sure they gave money to some idiots and gave them guns to say they are Biafran army. I don't know if they're up to 6 or 7 of them, which is a lie. It's a DSS creation. So they can have justification to say to Biden or the US ambassador, can you see they now have Biafran army? We can now move in to attack them. Anybody, if you are involved in that video, take a walk. You want to give Fulani Janjaweed the reason to invade our land. That's what you're doing. But we shall get to that later. Anybody involved in the circulation of that video is a gunner. I'm telling you the truth. And those that made it. That is how people behave because they don't understand the game plan of the Fulani. People are very foolish. Fulani will come to you and want to use you and you succumb because you have greed, envy, and jealousy inside you. Which one again is Biafran army? I'm asking you. From where? How many people? The day I will bring out the Biafran army, we number over 200,000 standing. Reserve is over 1 million. Some bunch of idiots somewhere because you're serving your Fulani Janjaweed masters. We'll get hold of all of you. Check out Uno Oko. We know they're bad eggs when we see them. We warned people against voting for Buhari in 2015 when he was still alive. The same Buhari died in 2017. People, all of you know that Buhari is dead. Today he's young, tomorrow he's old. You see his hand is fresh today, tomorrow. Nobody knows who is who anymore. All of you are there, but because it's the turn of your village. Your brother is a senator. Your sister is a House of Reps member. You don't want to lose that money that is coming in every day. You come out on social media and you're talking rubbish all the time. Because you're a black person. You don't understand. There is something called economies of scale. Some of you cannot reason very well. You claim you went to school. Sometimes I wonder the type of lecturers you had in your useless schools that you went to. I wonder, honestly speaking. Because you and your family, you're benefiting. Somehow you think that life is okay for you. Because of the level, or should I say the poverty of ideas inside you. Any day your relative goes into the farm, the Fulanis will kill them. All you can do is to lament. Say things are bad though, and you go and you sleep, and nothing gets done about it. It was I am very, very grateful to Almighty Elohim, that the courage today that you have in Yoruba land is because of ESN. The courage of Amoteku to say no to Fulani is because of ESN. Because of Eastern Security Network. That is why they found the courage to say no to Fulani. If not, they will not do it. All these years, without the coming, should I say all these months, without the coming of ESN, as Amoteku said, we are going to flush out headsmen from our bushes. Never. It's because they saw us, they have seen us doing it.
They said, oh, we might as well do the same thing as well. In order to it's called the pincer movement, to cut us off. They got some people, I don't know whether maybe in Olu or whatever, got them together, gave them, say, we are Biafran army, a few idiots. They are shooting gun, we are Biafran army. Inside somewhere. Did we tell you that we have formed the Biafran army? We said when we form it, the world will know that we have come. I don't hide anything. If you claim you are behind any useless group calling themselves Biafran army, show your face because I'm showing my face on video. I claim ownership of not ownership, of course. I can claim responsibility for ESN. Can you claim the same thing for Biafran army? If you claim you're a human being, that's to say it's all the handiwork of DSS. Mad people every idiots everywhere. Africans and lack of discipline. You don't have discipline. You don't have discipline. That was why the white man came and conquered you, because you lack discipline. After the white man must have finished with you, Fulani came from Senegambia because you have no brain. Lack of discipline. Every idiot thinks they can lead. They don't know what leadership entails. Every monkey thinks, oh, maybe if we have it. Nobody is funding IPOB ESN. It's only IPOB that's funding it worldwide. If you think you can bring 2 or 3 people together with a few rifles, and because of that, you can start calling for funds, you are wasting your time. You don't know our people. They won't give you a dime. Fulani is making use of your brain. You cannot see it. They come to you, oh, why don't you fight Yoruba? Oh, Yoruba is against Igbo. Igbo is against Yoruba. Fight each other. The same thing they did in the constitution of Biafra land. They told Ogoniman, you're not Igbo. He said, okay, I'm not. Ija, you're not Igbo. No, I'm not. Oh, you're not Igbo. Some of them, of course, most of them are Igbo, they agree. No, I'm not. And I want to ask Ogoni people something today. Some of you don't understand the meaning of what is called divide and rule. You know, you read it, oh, divide and rule, they divided us. You don't want to put your brain behind it to understand what it means. Up with Sarawiwa. Problem, yes. Have they cleaned the oil spill in your land? You are begging them to clean the mess that they made. How many of you own oil wells from Ogoni land? Igbo man is your problem. They want to conquer, they want to use Biafra to deceive us, to take our land, to dominate us. All of you crying about Niger Delta marginalization, all these years that you have nothing to do with an Igbo man. Have you survived? Have you survived? I'm asking you. Have you survived? Now, let me tell them something today they don't know. The free world, they have a defense, should I say, organization called NATO. Who are the leaders of NATO? The North Atlantic Treaty Organization that every civilized nation belongs to. Who are the leaders of NATO? It is the United States of America. Somebody must lead. It cannot be everybody. One person or a group of, they must lead. They must lead because they have what it takes. God gave it, made it so in the East that we are all related anyway, as one people, tied. That's why you have Igbo, indigenous Igbo people in Bayelsa, indigenous Igbos in Rivers, indigenous in Delta, majority Igbo people. Everywhere, all the way to Igodomigodo, in Edo State, in Iduland. God made it so for a reason. The first revolution in Nigeria was led by an Igbo man, Nzobo. That is the way God made us. I can't apologize for it. Because if we leave you to do it, you cannot do it. In a billion years, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. Because you don't have what it takes to confront the Janjaweed. We do, you don't. With all due respect. Is Ogoni land clean? Do they have clean water? Do they have good schools? The same thing for Ijo. Ijo, do you have good roads and good schools? Good health care? No. They will put somebody in office for 4 years or 8 years. He will build one community center and say the dividends of democracy.
As okay, whereas he's planning to relocate his children to Australia. Every day you wake up to the same rubbish. Every day you wake up. Every day you wake up to the same garbage. Day after day after day after day. And what is your response? The same thing over and over and over again. You go back now and say, oh, hey, I'm from Ishekiri. We are not part of what they're doing. And you accept. And look at your life and how miserable it is. You lament, you lament, you lament, but you don't have what it takes to make the much needed change. They say that all the government of Ondo State and others must draw a boundary. Where who are the bandits and who are the law-abiding? How can we know? As I'm going there, my phone, when your man all the lizards, all the now lizard, their stomach is almost on the floor. So we don't know which one has belly ache. How do we know? How can you differentiate between a good headsman and a violent terrorist headsman? How can you know? How can you know? I'm asking you. Mietiala is there, remote controlling all your lives. Look at how they installed, after installing Hope, they installed the idiot George Obiozo. George Obiozo was the man that took Hope to the north to go and introduce him as a politician. The same that George Obiozo, he's an intellectual, as they, the fools. Once they give you a degree, they say you're an intellectual. George Obiozo, before you took Hope to the north, did you know that Hope was doing 419 in Lagos? He was a fraudster doing Yahoo in Lagos. Who doesn't know in Imo State that Hope was a fraudster in Lagos? These are the type of leaders that they imposed on our people. Idiots. And we are there. They have Apex organization. Apex. These are errand boys for the caliphate. That's why BBC is promoting him. That is why they're all promoting. That is what they have always done. Black people are like that. As I told you before, when the British came to stop the eastern advance of the French colonial forces in Benin Republic, in Badagry, basically in Badagry. You know what Britain did? They didn't go to England to come bring soldiers. They went to Ghana. They recruited Ghanaians, black niggers from Ghana, to come and help them to conquer their fellow niggers in Nigeria. They didn't have to travel very far. That is why I keep saying that the brain of a black man is his greatest impediment. You see, inside this brain, everything a black man is suffering from is here. Inability to reason. Inability to reason. It is the truth that I must tell you. Some may not like it, but of course I will tell you. You cannot, the presidency is telling, you cannot unilaterally push out headsmen. What are they doing in the bushes? In the forest? And they said it's to feed their cattle. Before the white man came, where were you feeding your cattle? Fulani? Where? What was your cattle eating then? They said it's climate change. Of course, it's a lie. You came from very barren, arid Sahel. No rain in Sahel for centuries. It didn't start today. You were able to keep your cattle, you drink the blood and you drink the milk. That's how you survive. Now, what are you doing in Ondo Forest? Our people cannot see because they are blind. People cannot see because they are blind. But we are here to open your eyes. We are here to open your eyes. The time now is exactly 4 minutes past 9. Sorry, we are 4 minutes. What am I? No, I think that is UK time. It is 4 minutes past 10. I'm looking at the UK clock. It's 4 minutes past 10 a.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. We are under the bondage of the zoo because a few idiots want to be president of Nigeria. Because after that, then what happens? All of them killing themselves over Jonathan presidency. From the so-called Niger Delta or Yoruba that was dying because of Obasanjo presidency. Where are they today? They are still the ones crying that things are not okay. So you think as an Igbo man, if you're there for 8 years, somehow, miraculously, you will change anything? Ironsi tried and they killed him. Use your brain. It was meant to be Alex Ekwueme after Shagari. Buhari overthrew the government in 1983. Some of you don't know history. Rather than allow an Igbo man to become the president, they did a coup Some of you need to reason very well. Also, you claim you went to school, you should be able to use your brain. Oh, can you believe it? People who are foolish, they cannot, because of the chicken change they give you in Abuja. You don't have a house in Abuja because of that. You are going to suffer and die. Check it, they are mad people. You've not seen anything yet. You have not seen anything yet. At this point in time, let us take some questions. Then we'll continue. If you want to send us a question, who are the ones asking the questions, and what they go to Twitter and ask your question on Twitter. When you ask your question on Twitter, then I will be able to answer it live on air here. You can ask anything you like and I will answer it. Can you hear me? Uchenna, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, go ahead. We are
76, the United States separated from the United Kingdom by declaration. Today, they are the world power. In 1830, Belgium separated from Netherlands. Today, they are one of the most powerful countries in Europe, both of the countries. In 1965, Singapore separated from Malaysia. Today, they have transformed into global financial hub as a result of the separation. Why is it that when we call for separation, Nigeria and their criminals will be calling us terrorists? Don't fall for it. The past separation has led to the upsurge of economic development in the case of India and Pakistan, Norway, Denmark, Switzerland. Each of these separation has led to the upsurge of economic and development. In 2002, East Timor separated from Indonesia. In 1921, Ireland separated from the United Kingdom. Today, they are one of the powerful countries we have. In 1944, Iceland separated from Denmark, demonstrating that nations can part away without violence. Why do you kill Biafrans? Whenever we say we are fed up of Nigeria. In Nigeria, where you have dangerous diversity, in Nigeria, where you have the northern part of Nigeria practicing Islamic State, practicing Islamic Sharia law, and they have different culture, different laws, different rules, different everything. And with that kind of mentality and setup, we can never develop as a nation. That is the reason we call for the separate state, and of course for independent state for Biafra. Apart from the killings, genocide against our people, and jihad. In 1905, Norway and Sweden separated and goes their separate ways. Today, they are one of the most powerful countries in Europe because of the separation. In 1947, India and Pakistan separated. The list can go on and on and on.
There's a place where the world's silence has become its loudest betrayal, where lives are erased, not by natural disaster, but by design.
On this very day, 210 persons were slaughtered in one night, in less than 24 hours.
It's okay to mention that 100 people or 200 people have been killed in Yellowwater, but it is not okay to allow the victims to tell their own story.
Our houses are burned, our food items are burned, our sleeping items are burned.
It is illegal to have weapons, but why are they having it? So if it is illegal, government should bounce on them to recover the weapons from them. And government has failed to do that.
On June 13th, 2025, in Yellowwater, Benue State, Nigeria, a Christian farming community became a killing field. Over 270 Christians were massacred, many of them burned alive. Families, fathers, mothers, children, all slaughtered for one reason: their faith in Jesus Christ. This is not random violence. This is an organized, systematic genocide against Christians. I'm Judd Saul, the founder and director of Equipping the Persecuted. a mission dedicated to actually helping Christians on the ground in Nigeria. This is important because most people have never heard this story. They've been told it's just tribal violence or farmers and herders, but this is a lie. This is a targeted, systemic, intentional attack against Christians. This is Christian genocide.
Benue has been involved in the kind of crisis, conflict, and it is not communal. It is actually a crisis of identity where Muslim Fulanis from other parts of Africa, Mali, Chad Republic, Cameroon, Niger, troop into Nigeria on the invitation of their own brothers who are Fulanis to come to Benue, kill the indigenous who are largely Christians.
The most prominent of the issues of persecution of Christians is the attacks that are continually waged on Christian communities, particularly in the states of Benue and Plateau. Now, these two have been in the front burner or the epicenter of these terror attacks for their strategic position in the central region of Nigeria.
Benue is being controlled by a Christian. Plateau is being controlled by a Christian governor. Politically, the control of these states are by the Christian, and that is what they don't want. Nasarawa has no issue because it's being controlled by a Muslim.
And also the fact that Benue stands as the breadbasket of Nigeria, producing the vast majority of the food crops that are consumed across Nigeria and even beyond. And Plateau State, on its own right, stands as the headquarters of Christianity. Looking back in history, there were instances or attempts by the former Fulani jihadists, including Usman Danfodio, to capture these states. But those attempts failed, and it looks like we are having a resurgence of that agenda. Descendants of Usman Danfodio, who are members of the Fulani ethnicity, to ensure that Plateau State is turned to an Islamic empire. Likewise, the breadbasket of Nigeria turning into a caliphate. But the overall objective is to impose a caliphate governed by extremist ideologies, governed by Sharia in Africa's most populous country.
But here's the truth. The Nigerian government knew. The military knew. They were warned weeks in advance of an attack that was going to take place in Yelawada, and they sat back and did nothing. They stood by and did nothing. Not only did they fail to stop it, they stood by and watched.
That very day, it was raining. So Fulani herdsmen, they invaded the community and claimed so many lives.
Around 12 midnight, we started having calls from Yerwata that the Fulanis have come and they are killing, burning.
Friday night, I was sleeping in my house. See my house there. I come here, they shoot gun. Later, they come, they break this house. Where my brother, my brother is sleeping here with his children. Thereby, they come, they kill people. They were breaking the house. Say, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Later, they go down. They enter inside, they kill people that side as well. They started shooting after the Allahu Akbar. Burning houses, burning people in the houses, killing them, massacring them. In fact, it was a sad news.
Ikwaneva facing a higher, still a bandria. Kayo, I said, do in the at you before Yavaya, we look in the we want you. So you say do say guma tsansha timbi jiji. Alovi babe zuayo gaya. Adogave hideyen. So room la vesi humba rumba. O monte na yakwe 40 something, 30 something. So you blachi in na we do it.
Na you ba na we unde hakpa we do it. So mam pa yam do hakpa la. So yan shi baba wa mhe. Wan gba na ba nu so gba mu nu so ya unde o pa do sha. O do na ma ya town pa hide gba hinya. Shi da gba mu gani ra ya. Ya gumo pam na gum do so fa nya e be bi go da ya bu won shi bu wa be papa so ba wa ya hiru yo so nya be town. Na ma tena ra ma ya de gba kero mu gani ra. So ma ya bi ben ma be taus ma be nade. So ya be nade yo ha be ben bu gune ye me ya. Ahunda was be ya hidu e bara pa shi be za be nade chicha be nade ha ma kwa.
No, that Yelwata is a market where this neighboring settlement, they do come there and exchange, buy things and then sell goods and then go. But because of this flanny insecurity of a thing, they now move from their villages. Then they settle at that Yelwata, which are the market square.
Now, this attack is very significant in that it highlights the vulnerability of Christian residents, especially given that you had residents who had been displaced, who had been attacked, most of whom had lost their breadwinners, most of whom had lost, their families and entire livelihoods, seeking shelter in this community that was among the few surviving communities. And then you had these villagers camping in this community, hoping that the presence of a small unit of army and police would provide some respite and protection. But again, when this attack was launched, somehow the terrorists apparently acting on perhaps the collaboration, information apparently or possibly shared by sources within the security architecture, like the Chief of Defense Staff did allude to, made sure to flank the military base and as well the police station that is located on the edge of the community, while another group focused on burning these helpless and defenseless Christians in the makeshift shelters.
I'm particular about one man, Iyomba. He lost his wife and about 5 of his children, and then 10 houses belonging to him was burnt down. The other man lost 35 of his family household. I'm talking of Tazar Dende Aloysius. He's a Catholic. He lost 35 members of his household. His brother's wife, his brother's sons, 2 of his brother's sons, and their children, all of them in one flat, were macheted, slashed, cut to pieces, and then locked up in their houses, in their flat, doused with gasoline, and then burnt to ashes.
Well, yeah, me ya Jim, my very words. I'm having Jim, my very naya. But going back, Baba Chile, how would I am? Modiana Moya, me was now, by one like a Jumi. Into my son hango, you na ha. Mam to speaker and Baba Simba. Mve Kishi. Into Peria singer, me a satire. Mam go mamchi hat you. Mam to mambo good. Nah. Bubabu wayo kuyone zan. Wayo kwa he love do it. Shivi de shivingo, shivu wayo. Shivi do it. Shivingo no kwa tani ama. Yamba duwe mabe halfway like usual. Mabe kanduso. Namba ngwa pe yamyela yu. Mbu pera chuku ya mam negruso. Mam kiri mom do it. Yani velo ba. Ki yo hangere shimi. Manu kesengere mla hayo. Nukesengere mla hayo vemba yachi. Ukpa ku suya. Boda se duwe kuwo. Se da kwe ku kuwo. Ma yam kare yama. Vichi hamu. na ma no sra ma ya hide ma da taki yo shun o kwasna ma yebe se ma de ko ho mo ma ya si yebe si yi ba mi am to me e mo me be kaya si duwe chicha ke ya ba wala mo ga na gba na la be na e hu duwe ya ba go be won ya hide di taki o sine ma pe de nya se fa je bi ru ke won la fa je mduwe wasipa e se vinda ku uhia ne ya ugbola ale on pari oro mi ya na nzaro on pari oro mi ge ko ko na ya se duwe na ki yo shun la ba tumbu wa ma nwa ya pe wa na mo la ka yira tine on duna ngula pa shi pe mo la ka yira e geble ngula pa pe mo la ka yira e vt ngula pa pe awa ne ka yira tine cletus mbala mi e shi on do ngula pa pe.
Now, a week after we went there, we discovered that 400 houses were burnt down. Now, as we were checking on these houses, we were going one after the other into these houses. Charred bones that had been burnt. Rice storage, grainage has been burnt into ashes. You could see blood stain on the ground, blood splattered on the wall. It reek of death. The smell is so acrid. You could hear smell of burnt bones, flesh, blood, rice, all mingled together. 1 week after this carnage, smoke is still coming out of some of these houses.
I was kind of depressed because seeing people born beyond their recognition it was a sad event. So I only went there to find a way to move my sisters and her husband, the little remnants, so that will come out, will do a sign of sin and then bury them. So it was a very sad movement.
Oya wayange ipana pa kishop. Ya wa bechicha momo yanga huati ya do umake.
So my people that were got they killed up to 18 in my village, and some were my relations, blood relations, and they killed them about 6. My mother, who is an aged woman, was also affected because when I got the news to her, she had heart attack, and that leads to her death. It was yesterday that I went and deposited the corpse in the hospital.
The Nigerian authority had every chance and every opportunity to reinforce its troops in that community and ensure that the defenseless villagers are given protection, because
anytime these people are coming, they normally even give information that we must attack.
The attack on the peaceful community of Yellowwater was planned more than 3 weeks in advance, and our team at Truth Nigeria had advanced knowledge of that because, of our networks and intelligence capacity. We collected information regarding plots to launch attacks in this community or in communities bordering Nasarawa and Benue, and disseminated that information, gave advance warning of those attacks to the police, the DSS, the army, and also civil authorities with the hope that something would be done.
They consistently said they are coming, and the government was aware that these people are coming, but no action was taken. The Yerwata there was on the video, on social media everywhere, that these people have left Kadareko, they are coming to attack. Government was aware. In fact, even the attack, when the attack was on, the attack was more than 5 hours. And from Makonde here to Yerwata is less than 30 minutes drive.
It is planned, they map out the area, and according to what they told me, is they came in 3 batches. They came in 3 batches and they used different flanks. They avoided the military base, and then they came by the west, and then surrounded the village, and they started shooting. They normally come anything 10 o'clock And after operating, they stop anything too. That is how it is. All my experiences, they start by 10, 11, 12, 1. Once it is 2, they don't operate again.
When the attack was on, the military were informed, the police were informed, government was informed, but nobody took any action. They did their act for more than 4 or 5 hours and left. Unhurt. So government is not helping us.
And that is what underscores, like I said, the vulnerability of Christian residents in the middle belt of Nigeria.
This is not just about Yellowwater. This is Nigeria's war against its own Christians. A war the world refuses to name. A war the world refuses to acknowledge.
The question is, do the Nigerian authorities know where these terrorists are coming from? Yes. Do they know where, when they even launch the attacks or when they are planning the attacks? Of course, by the fact that we give advanced knowledge. And of course, by our interactions with some peaceful and honest members of the security architecture, yes, they know. They have the intelligence that tells them that, yes, these things are about to happen. But what happens? They never act. Instead, they come after people like us, whistleblowers like us, truth tellers like us, who are simply doing our bit to draw attention to the attacks, to draw attention to the violations, and to ensure that something is done, if not locally, at the international level to protect citizens and to guarantee the safety of humanity generally and religious freedom in Africa's most populous country.
Nigeria remains the deadliest country on earth to follow Jesus Christ. 90% of Christian persecution deaths worldwide have occurred in Nigeria over the last 5 years. 3,100 Christians have been killed since January 2025. 2,830 abducted. Over 3.3 million Christians have been displaced, driven from their villages and removed from their homes. And those are just the ones that we know of. There's more that are staying silent, living in fear.
It damages is enormous because, number one, those that survive it, they don't have a place to lay their head. They don't have house. They don't have food. They can't go to farm. So multiple trauma going on their head. So, and like they wrote to us yesterday, they need food. In fact, some said specifically, we help them with the drugs, but they need food so that the drugs will be effective. And they are taking the drugs without food and they're having side effects. So they need food.
Some people are here, they can't afford 1 kobo. Even to bury my mother now. If people don't support me, it will be a serious issue. Because the first target is the place where I will go and bury her, now that there is crisis. So I have to deposit it in the hospital. And depositing it, it involves money. When time comes for me to bury her, they will be asking for the money that I should pay the mutual bill. All these things are involvement. Getting a casket because she was not born. So I may find a way to at least put her in a casket so that we'll bury her. And all these things involves financial implication.
Life in the camp is not easy with me because I have my personal house that I'm sleeping in. So before, but now, as in destroy the whole thing, I'm sleeping on the mat. To eat sometimes is 0 meal a day with my children.
Now we
are kind of hand to mouth, so it's not just easy. Like if you see my house here, I have about 15 kids, which are not mine, which are their relative. In fact, 2 days ago, I have to reduce because they were here about 20 something. And look, I have not even completed my house. So where to stay is very difficult. So I have reduced some. And having 20 or 15 people in the house, you know, the kind of food consumption it would be.
This is the war on Christians in Nigeria. In the ashes of Yellowwater, survivors rebuild, they mourn, they remember, they still hope. But the killing has not stopped. Across Nigeria, churches burn, villages are emptied, families are torn apart, and the world remains silent.
The world is not responding enough, and that is why they keep on perpetuating this crime. You see, the Nigerian government is also hiding the facts. The Nigerian government is letting the world know that this is just a communal clash. But a communal clash is when two brothers are fighting. It's when two tribes or very neighbors that have lived together in the same community are fighting. But this very clash involves a header or heading community, and they are armed with AK-49. And then they come to overwhelm or storm and then slaughter innocent people, the Kajis, the Kadaras, the Idomas, the thieves, who are not armed.
The plan of the terrorists is not just to take Nigeria or to take Plateau State or central Nigeria, but to take the whole of Nigeria. Now, taking the whole of Nigeria is very central to capturing the whole of the African continent, because Nigeria, of course, is the largest black country in the whole world. And it is one of the richest, in terms of mineral deposits. So imagine now that the terrorists, without even having a foothold of, the anti-aircraft artilleries, they are able to acquire heavy-duty machine guns, rocket launchers, and even drones with which they are able to take out entire communities. Imagine what they can achieve by the time they get hold of Plateau State with all its vast mineral deposits, the tin, the columbide, uranium. They are able to capture the whole of Kaduna State with all of its mineral resources. They're able to capture the whole of Niger State with all of its gold, and diamonds. They're able to capture the whole of course, they're even pushing to the oil-rich south of Nigeria. By the time they get hold of all of these resources, what warhead can they not acquire? What missile can they not acquire? What nuke can they not acquire? What ship can they not acquire? What battle tanks can they not acquire? And what that essentially means is that with that, they will be able to launch attacks as far as the United States. And that means another 9/11 is possible.
We cannot stay silent. This story must be told. That's why we're calling on you. We're also calling on the U.S. government and the international community to stop buying the false narrative of tribal violence and climate change as the reasons Christians are being killed.
When we heard about the attacks that destroy a lot of lives and property, as usual, based on our policies, within 48 hours, we should respond to it. So we quickly put our medical teams and we send them to Makurdi, and we help those that are in North Bank IDP. Then we went to the international market, IDP Camp Makurdi. And then after that, we started going to the hospitals. We've helped in Ayati, we've helped in Naka, so the IDP camps there, Adoka, Tobi, and the Makurdi, North Banks. When we come to Kaduna, virtually all the communities in southern Kaduna that have been attacked group in there is the Kajuru, is the Zango Katab, is the Kaura, Chiku, Kachia, and in Plateau, we're talking about the Mango, Rion, Miango, Bokos, all the places that have been attacked group in there. In Nasara, we have Kutara IDP that have built school there. And other areas, FCT, Abuja, we have Wasa IDP that have helped. So we're talking about over 500,000 people that benefited from equipping the needy directly. We're not talking about indirectly. And we have widows that consistently receive help from us, some monthly, some quarterly, some yearly.
It's time we quit being naive and look at the situation for what it is and call it for what it is. A genocide against Christians perpetrated by radical Islamic terrorists from the Fulani tribe. We cannot sit idly by and ignore this anymore. It is time for action. It is time for us to wake up. It is time for us to come to the aid of the innocent in Nigeria. Will you join us? Share this film, share this documentary with everybody you know. If you'd like to help persecuted Christians on the ground, visit our website and partner with our organization at equippingthepersecuted.org.
It is only blackmailers that say that Biafra is a call for war. That's your hand up, and they will courage. That's your Igbo. I'm on the APC, I'm a leader of the APC. And we will say to the gathering, I want you to need your book. Biafra is a call for referendum. Nothing more, nothing less. One commits an offense if there is a law written down clearly published. Show me any law that says you cannot hang a Biafran flag in Nigeria and that will be guilty. Show me any law. Nowhere. So they have a right. So is there a law against the color or the design or the distance? Supposing you paint your car the Biafran flag, would they arrest the car? Supposing you paint your house the Biafran flag, would they arrest the house? So what is the offense in hanging the Biafran flag? Today a lot of people are happy celebrating that Dangote is the richest man in the world. He's not richest in nothing. When you are given a monopoly to import cement, and the Beto is stopped for many years so that only you will have a leeway, and then you import the whole flour, and then you import all the sugar, and then you import all the salt, and they stop, they give you a waiver. Even if it's a moron, you will be the richest man in Africa.
Hello, my brothers and sisters, my friends and my well wishers. I'm Brock one day creating well now. For still a big James, a case local see. Ebrum Batos on who take attack Bonkoni. Bonyaman agent. As I did my Saturday, Mamma Koye Chilias, Nigeria federal government, Diko Dodo, Noga Kama, name it.
How many times have you had that Igbo who are resident anywhere went to wander the mosque? But at one time they will come to wander the Catholic churches where you are. When we are merely expressing ourselves as provided under the Constitution the right of freedom of worship. If you don't want us to express ourselves by talking about Biafra, are you calling for war? Biafra is not a call for war. Yes. It is only blackmailers that say that Biafra is a call for war. That's your hand up, and they will courage. That's your Igbo. I'm on the APC, I'm a leader of the APC. And we will say to the gathering, I want you to need your book. Biafra is a call for referendum. Nothing more, nothing less. This is a call for a referendum today, and those who are in support of Biafra do not win by at least 90%. Our commission suicide. Referendum is simply to put a box to those in support, yes. Those who are against, no. Put the two boxes. Why is it difficult for the elites to join up? So that they may want Nigeria here again. Because Nigeria is sick beyond limit. Nigeria is the only country in the world where every single project that is put in government is put with a plan to steal some money. That is the truth. Third mainland bridge, third Niger bridge, they do away. Every year they second Niger bridge, Obasanjo, second Niger bridge, Yaradua, second Niger bridge, Jonathan, second Niger bridge, Buhari, second Niger bridge, second Niger bridge, So what we are saying in summary is that it is not true that the laws of Nigeria do not give us space to agitate for our rights as a people. Go and see every section of the Constitution that provides for our fundamental human rights. We have never exhausted any of it. But the truth of the Nigeria is that It is the individuals who are running the Nigerian state who are angry, who don't like the Igbo people to develop, that are suppressing it. Today they are saying that the trailers in Apapa are making life difficult in Apapa, correct? How did that come about? When Obasanjo stopped the importation of textile from Port Harcourt Wharf, everybody is now forced to go to Lagos. Port Harcourt Wharf is empty. If you allow those people who are importing
So you reckon that if Ojukwu were alive today,
yes,
he will be saying to Nnamdi Kanu, that's not the way to go?
Ojukwu may not say so to Nnamdi Kanu for the simple reason that Ojukwu and I believe every right-thinking person should also take into consideration the fact that every citizen, every adult citizen is entitled to his or her own point of view. So that if Nnamdi Kanu believes that Biafra should be a separate country, that is a point of view.
Because that would have been consistent with what Ojukwu believed and did in the late 60s.
The circumstances, I keep referring you to the situation at the time.
Situation changed.
Yes. So when situations change, so people can shift ideologically. So that's the point, that what we're dealing with today is not so much about where Mr. A or Mr. B stands on these issues, but the right and freedom of people to agitate for whatever they want, so long as they do it within the law. So it's not a question of where do I stand. Basically, it's a matter of what rights are we entitled to as citizens of Nigeria, and how are those rights protected under the law?
So you don't agree with the way Nnamdi Kanu is playing the politics of Biafra today, but you believe he has a right to his position, to hold his position. Is that correct?
That's the point I'm making, that he has the right to hold his views and to agitate for separation. Then I have the right to say, well, I think I need to look at this differently. It is what we need to do is to ensure at all times that we uphold individual rights and freedoms. That's the bottom line.
Okay. Now, this is relevant to this conversation. You said in page 197. Let me read what you wrote here. President Buhari has his own issues with the Igbo. He becomes irritated when confronted with issues relating to Igbo marginalization or Biafra. I also have to read that immediately after that you did say that Buhari has a certain authenticity that can help to achieve genuine national reconciliation if he so desires. You then wrote after, in page 108, you said, a significant number of the Igbo diaspora do not believe that Nigeria is redeemable. They believe in Biafra and are funding the process that could lead to its realization. I believe that Nigeria is redeemable if we fight for its liberation from the clutches of agents of centralization.
Yes.
Okay, stay with me, sir. I was just curious. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you now wrote in page 200, one of the reasons Obasanjo becomes very irritated over the current Biafra agitation, aside of the Civil War victor mentality, is that he knows very well that it sprouted on his watch. Okay, so you said Buhari gets agitated when it comes to the issue of Igbo. You said Obasanjo gets agitated when it comes to the issue of Biafra. Do you believe that Buhari and Obasanjo are agents of centralization? Is that your take on those leaders, that they push for a strong central government? Agents of centralization?
Yeah, agents of centralization, basically people who by their training, military officers who get into government and they only understand command and control. And then their own idea, of Nigeria is a Nigeria that is controlled from the center, from Abuja. Okay. Now, that is the problem. Obasanjo, General Obasanjo, General Buhari, General Babangida, all the generals, who have, one time or the other been in office in Nigeria, they all belong to that school of thought. They are basically, they believe in centralization as a policy.
That's what you meant by agents of centralization.
Now, the point is this. Nigeria was founded, the way Nigeria was founded, the whole idea was to create a federal state. That was the vision of the founding fathers who laid the foundation for Nigeria. Now, the military guys, came on, Nick. Now, so it is the inability of the military class to interpret their own vision, which is clearly a unitary vision. They have been unable to interpret it to Nigerians. That failure is, basically at the root of the confusion and crisis we face as a country. Yes, so that is it. So my thesis is clear. So if we rescue Nigeria from the grip of these agents of centralization, Nigeria will be a better place. And so when people begin to interpret it, what restructuring means to them, whatever way you look at it, the overarching point, the most important point, is that, we must return to the original vision, of federalism, upon which this country, was formed. What we have been experiencing is a distortion, and it's compounded by the inability of those who seek to distort it to even properly, interpret their own vision. They don't seem to even be clear, how their own idea of central command control system will work. They failed.
Thank you very much. It's been a nice time with you here, reviewing your book, The Politics of Biafra and the Future of Nigeria. Thank you. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you, Kunle. Thank you very much.
Some time ago, while reviewing two books with Professor Wole Soyinka, we asked him what he thought about today's agitation for a separate state called Biafra. Here's how he responded.
I wrote an article, I remember at the time, during the war, and I said, Biafra cannot be defeated. People misunderstood what I was saying. I'm saying that once an idea has taken hold, you cannot destroy that idea. You may destroy the people, the carriers of that idea on the battlefield. Yes, this is known. But ultimately, it's not the end of the story. Otherwise, the Scots would not have gone recently through a process of trying to detach themselves from Great Britain, old as that democracy is. And yet that was taking place in the United Kingdom. So let's not take this position of, don't even talk it. Under my watch, this will never happen. Don't say things like that. Go into that environment and ask, what is it that we can do to make you content, to make you happy, to make you feel part of this entity? There is no need. These are the advantages of staying. Listen to some other Biafrans and ask them why they want to stay. This is what we are ready to push as the overall governance authority in this area. But don't go around saying the sovereignty of this nation is indivisible, is non-negotiable. All that kind of language, for me, it only makes matters worse.
I hope you have enjoyed today's show.
Remove Jonathan. There were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. What has happened in Nigeria is that most of the time when something comes up today, we never sit back and say, how did we get to this point? We got to this point by virtue of the fact of the effort to remove President Jonathan. There had always been this herder-farmer clash, but it never got to this point where whole communities were exterminated so that some people will be roaming freely within their land, which is what happens in Plateau and in Benue State.
I think Benue is the worst hit.
Precisely. Yeah. And you know why? Because most of the banks of the Benue is lush because it's watered by the Benue River. And so they want, these people came and they want. And who are these people? And that's a question that we have not dealt with. The bill first said that we have to confine these people to the ranches within their states of origin. And somebody woke up and said, no, every Nigerian has a right to go around. There's no such thing like a state of origin. Why will anybody make that statement? Reason is that in trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. If you ask any Nigerian Fulani, he will tell you that there's something called the Bororo Fulani. And that Bororo Fulani are these imported ones. They don't own land. Therefore, what they want to do is to settle in Nigeria. They were given free passage, let me just say it, by the Buhari regime. And we were shouting at that time, don't bring people into Nigeria who are not Nigerians. They won't have sympathy. They won't know what has happened. All they want to do is displace you, take over your place, and roam freely within that place.
But there were cattle herders as well.
They were, but the Nigerian cattle herders were not carrying AK-47 rifles and other.
So these guys brought their guns.
So these guys brought their guns with them. First thing they did was to start to rustle the cattle belonging to Nigerians. And so a Nigerian herder who loses his cattle, has nowhere else to go, he becomes part of them. Because he is given, okay, you either join us or you got nothing. And some of them, of course, joined. And so we have this complicated problem. And this complicated problem is what we want to solve by saying, can we confine you to a particular place? If you have, okay, what you want to do is to move your cattle from where there is grass to another place where there is grass, and you can roam around with them. And I also pointed out on the floor of the Senate that Governor Ganduje at a particular time said
my state, Kano, has more than enough land for all the headers in Nigeria to go around with it. In trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. What has happened in Nigeria is that most of the time when something comes up today, we never sit back and say, how did we get to this point? We got to this point by virtue of the fact of the effort to remove President Jonathan. There had always been this header-farmer clash, but it never got to this point where whole communities were exterminated so that some people will be roaming freely within their land, which is what happens in Plateau and in Benue State.
I think Benue is the worst hit.
Precisely. Yeah. And you know why? Because most of the banks of the Benue is lush because it's watered by the Benue River. And so they want, these people came and they want. And who are these people? And that's a question that we have not dealt with. The bill first said that we have to confine these people to the ranches within their states of origin. And somebody woke up and said, no, every Nigerian has a right to go around. There's no such thing like a state of origin. Why will anybody make that statement? Reason is that in trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. If you ask any Nigerian Fulani, he will tell you that there's something called the Bororo Fulani. And that Bororo Fulani are these imported ones. They don't own land. Therefore, what they want to do is to settle in Nigeria. They were given free passage, let me just say it, by the Buhari regime. And we were shouting at that time, don't bring people into Nigeria who are not Nigerians. They won't have sympathy. They won't know what has happened. All they want to do is displace you, take over your place, and roam freely within that place.
But there were cattle herders as well.
They were, but the Nigerian cattle herders were not carrying AK-47 rifles and other.
So these guys brought their guns.
So these guys brought their guns with them. First thing they did was to start to rustle the cattle belonging to Nigerians. And so a Nigerian herder who loses his cattle has nowhere else to go. He becomes part of them because he is given okay, you either join us or you got nothing. And some of them of course joined. And so we have this complicated problem. And this complicated problem is what we want to solve by saying, can we confine you to a particular place? If you have, okay, what you want to do is to move your cattle from where there is grass to another place where there is grass, and you can roam around with them. And I also pointed out on the floor of the Senate that Governor Ganduji at a particular time said, my state, Kano, has more than enough land for all the headers in Nigeria to go around with it.
Too long to go on those interviews, especially during that
come here.
You have to is no longer alive. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I listened to Gowon's interview with Charles Nagolo of Arise News. That's a television. That's why I said it should come. I listened to him, and I felt so sorry with the things he said. The reason being that at 91 years of age, I shouldn't be joining issues with him. But I remember that when Babangida launched his book and made revelations in that his book, I was on television again, I think it was Arise News, to speak on the fallout of that book launch, wherein I challenged Gowon to write his own book about the Civil War. Because Babangida stated clearly that the coup wasn't an Igbo coup. The Igbo people have suffered gravely because of that coup. A coup that was plotted to bring Awolowo out of prison and make him president of Nigeria. The actors had written their books, and that was their common program. And the coup didn't succeed. And the Igbos have been put to the wall because of it. I felt that with Babangida's clear statement that it wasn't an Igbo coup, and he named Yorubas and Northerners that were part of that coup, it was a big relief to me, and I challenged Gowon to write his own book so Nigerians will read. So I was therefore disappointed that yesterday he granted an interview which showed the sign of dementia on his part. At 91, he appeared to have forgotten the things that happened. But some of us who worked with Ojukwu and interviewed him and got the records of what happened at that time disagree with all the things he said. One is that it was a big lie for him to say that the war was not against the Igbo people of Nigeria. What can be further from the truth? They said he was in Abeokuta. He wasn't in Abeokuta, and he heard about the insurrection in Abeokuta, and he was somewhere, and suddenly he saw how it ended. It snowballed into assassination of Ago Ironsi. That he wasn't part of the coup. He didn't know anything about it, but he later emerged as head of state after the coup, counter coup was organized. That is somebody telling lies. And for him to say that the war was not against the Igbo people, I thought by now, for the role he played in that civil war, instead of coming here to challenge our sensibilities, that I think not challenging, it's insulting our sensibilities, that the war was not against the Igbos. Who were the victims of the war? The counter coup was a cleansing of the Igbo officers in the Nigerian army. Igbo officers, you know, he couldn't say those who were killed from his own Plateau state or part of Nigeria in the counter coup. He couldn't say that. So it was a reprisal coup against the Igbos, and the Igbos were not only killed as military officers, their businesses were destroyed across Nigeria. And the Aburi Accord, which he has misrepresented in his interview, is the greatest travesty. One was that I worked with Ojukwu for 5 years, and I asked him questions about these things, and including Aburi Accord. He told me that at Aburi, they all agreed to confederation. Confederation means that the regions will become confederate states, and every region will continue to develop at its own pace. That is the essence of the meaning of confederation. And when they agreed on all this, that General Ankara carried himself, General Ankara and Gowon and Ojukwu were at the back of the same car when they were being taken to the airport. And that Ankara took Gowon's hand and Ojukwu's hand, put them together, and said that they should go
and implement the agreements of this Aburi, And he told Gowon right there, Ojukwu said he told Gowon that if Gowon gets home and announces the agreements reached here, that he will be the first person to propose Gowon as the head of state of Nigeria. And when they all left, they came back to Nigeria. Days went by, Gowon didn't announce anything. He didn't address the nation on what they agreed in Aburi. In Gowon's account yesterday, I was shocked to hear him say that when he returned, he had malaria. And because he had fever, he delayed his announcing the agreements reached in Aburi. So at his age, he didn't need to start lying. When he came back, his advisors told him to renege on all the things agreed in Aburi. So it was Gowon who plunged the country into that civil war. It was because he refused to announce the agreements reached in Aburi. Ojukwu waited for him, and things were not getting better. And Ojukwu now, well, I don't even think that he made a formal broadcast. He leaked the agreements reached in Aburi, and he was still waiting on Gowon to do the needful. Gowon now said that if Ojukwu had not said the things agreed in Aburi, that I wouldn't be anyone, that he would have said the same thing by himself, but if not for malaria that he was suffering from. So I think he has not done what he should be doing at this late stage of his life. It is time for him to begin to speak the truth, to heal the wounds of that war. Everybody has moved on. The war is 55 years today that it ended. But to come back at 91 years of age and tell these obvious lies means that he is not thinking about how to live Nigeria in peace. He said he fought for Nigeria to be one. That's what he said. That the reason for fighting the civil war was to keep Nigeria as one. Is Nigeria one today? Nigeria is not one today. The president was in Benue yesterday, where people of his own zone are being slaughtered on a daily basis in the past years. So what has he done to make Nigeria a better country? So I think that I still challenge him again to write his own truthful account of what happened in Nigeria under his watch, so that truth is an open word, conscience is an open word, only the truth will heal it. So he should stop running around. Let him come out boldly and tell sorry to the Igbo people of Nigeria. Because remember, the coup brought out to Awolowo from prison. And instead of using Awolowo to unite Nigeria, he brought him and made him Federal Commissioner for Finance under his government. And they started driving economic policies that were aimed at exterminating the Igbos in Nigeria. So he was the person who laid the foundation for all these problems we're having. And he was the one who brought the Southeast, the Igbos and the Yorubas, at crossroads. Mistrust came in because Awolowo was released by Ojukwu after when the Republic of Biafra was declared. So in trying to gather people, he now brought Gowon. Instead of uniting the country, he made him Federal Commissioner for Finance. He knows the purpose for that. And we have paid dearly for it. We don't want to be insulted more, because doing these things will aggravate our wound. We want to bury the wounds of the past. So let him stop speaking. If he doesn't want to say the truth, let him go and write his own book, so that when he's no more, his book will be circulated and will be judged. Ojukwu is not alive to join issue with him. When Ojukwu was alive, he was talking. Gowon refused to talk. And now that he's talking, it's very unfortunate. T.Y. Danjuma is still alive. He was the one that led the arrest of Gowon, and his unfortunate, arrest and his unfortunate assassination. So I don't know what T.Y. will be thinking after hearing Gowon that he wasn't part of the coup. That he didn't know anything about what happened in Nigeria and suddenly saw himself as head of state of Nigeria. How can somebody say this type of thing? So what is he trying to say for us to believe? So thank you very much.
Thank you for being there and watching all along. It's Monday. I appreciate everyone who have been there. We try to do it differently today. On the Monday sit at home, so many people were sitting at home, so many people were doing what they had to do. And we decided to go on a memory lane on things that they have done against us for a very long time, where the problem started, where we are coming from, and where we are going. A lot of things have happened. The Biafran people, we have suffered enough. We have suffered a lot, and I think enough is enough. So if you have been watching all the videos I played from Mazin Nandekano to Mazin Simon Ekpa, and to the confessions that were made by different kinds of people on the situation of Nigeria, it is very, very clear that the end of time has come. And when you see the way the world is paying attention to Nigeria now, you will know that this time around they cannot escape it. No matter how they try, they can't escape it. That is why things are happening the way it's happening, and the whole world is dragging them out. Nigeria can no longer hide. It is going to end with the drug baron they put in Asarok. We have been talking about the issue of the drug baron that they put in Asarok, and finally, the time has come. Remember, Mazin Nandekano said it, that the late Muhammad Buhari will be the last president of Nigeria, and he is. He is. Everyone knows that the illegitimate man they have there today in Asarok is not the president. He is not. And no part of the world recognizes him. He is not recognized. That is why the whole thing is done now and the world is paying attention. If you have watched how things are unfolding gradually about Nigeria, you will know that the time has come. But some people tend to think that their problem is the Igbos. Igbos are not the problem of Nigeria. Instead, Nigeria is the problem of the Igbos. Nigeria is the problem of the Igbos. The Igbos have tried as much as possible to do everything they can to keep the so-called Nigeria together, but it has always backfired on them. In fact, if there are people who have committed so much in the unity of Nigeria, it is the Igbos. They have sacrificed blood, they have sacrificed properties, they have sacrificed resources, they have sacrificed their time, they have sacrificed every single thing that needs to be sacrificed to have peace. The Igbos have done that, but yet that peace could not come. Instead of having peace, it is destruction, it is death, it is the loss of life and loss of security up to this moment. So, and I think finally the world is paying attention to what is happening. That is why you see today the international communities are gradually coming up from different angles and different corners. And if you're not following events, you wouldn't know what is happening. It is for the very first time in history that you will see a competent court of a first world country like Canada will come out and say that a country's leading party are terrorist organization. Don't you ever forget, when they say that, some of you took it as a joke. So many of you thought that it was just a play, it was just a joke. It is not a joke. Canada is not a Nigeria that will just come out and say anything just because they want to say it or they want to entertain you. Canada is not like that. Canada is a very, very organized country, first world country, and they have planned their way very well. And whatever they say, every part of this world take note. So when they came out and they said that Nigeria, all their ruling parties, APC and PDP are terrorist organizations, it's not a joke. And today, when you see what is happening in Nigeria today, you will understand that that thing they said is truth. If you have watched the interview, that the one they call, what is that in the Buala went to attend to in Al Jazeera, if Al Jazeera presenter could be able to trash Nigeria that way, you should know that something is coming. If an Al Jazeera presenter could come out openly and trash Nigeria the way they did, talk about the illegitimacy of your so-called president the way they did. Comparing him to the drug baron you have in other places like Maduro that have been arrested by the United States, you should understand what is happening. That is why you see anywhere they tell him to go, he go. Tinubu is fighting for his life today in Nigeria. That is what he's doing. And he's ready to give anything, ready to sacrifice anything. That is why he is confused. Tinubu is in alliance with Turkey. Tinubu is in alliance with France. Tinubu is in alliance with US. Tinubu is in alliance with China. Everybody that calls him, he runs there. But that is not going to save him. Because the terrorists that he's supervising cannot come down. He can't even control them anymore. He came out, the people that put him in power are terrorists. The party that brought him in power are terrorist organization. And there's no way he will go against the plan of that party. APC, a terrorist party. Everything he plans or he does has to be according to their directions. And today, I want you to understand that the end has come. Any genuine person in Nigeria now is supposed to be preparing his way out. If you are genuine, you are supposed to be preparing. Whichever tribe you are, whichever location you are, whichever way you belong. If you are a Biafran, you need to be preparing with the Biafran people. If you are a Yoruba person, prepare with the Yoruba people. If you are from the Middle Belt, prepare with the Middle Belt. Even if you are an Hausa, prepare yourself because what is coming is going to be heavy. Some of you think that it is slow. What is US doing? US have so many responsibilities as you can see. They are trying to handle the issue of Iran as far as they can and then do other things. We thank God for a nation like the United States of America that Chukwu Okike have used as the police of the world and continue to direct them on the right path. That is the savior every one of us has. And all we have to do is to continue to pray for them, pray for the President of the United States to continue to stand strong and do what he has to do. So I appreciate everyone that joined us on this program today. Remember, it is Monday. The sit at home is voluntary. It has always been voluntary. You see the way they are forcing, attacking, and doing everything to push people out. But in the midst of all that, there are still people who are doing what they have to do. There are still people who are sitting at home in Biafra land. No matter what happens, there are still people who have committed themselves that for the sake of our Supreme Amazon Nnamdi Kanu, that they are going to do everything humanly possible to see that his voice is heard. But in the midst of all that, we still have to continue to follow our heart, do what we have to do. This is not the time for antagonizing each other. It's not the time for blackmail and propaganda. It is time to be focused. That little thing you know you can do, just focus on it. Just like the video of Mark Simon that I played, he made it clear that every group has something to do and he is ready to work with any group. As long as you are genuinely scared for Biafra, continue to do that. No need to attack each other. No need to fight somebody. No need to begin to pull somebody down. Just focus. That one you believe is the right thing to do. Just continue to do it. Because the freedom we are looking for is for all of us. It is not for one person. So wherever you are, that one you know you can do, continue to do it. Because Chukwu Okike Abiama alone is the one that is going to lead us to the path that we are supposed to go. So I urge every one of you that have joined on this very program today. I appreciate you all for all your contributions in one way or the other. Like and share to people who wish to hear us and hear what we have to say. And we are going to go to some updates before we round it up. This one says, husband cries out as kidnappers abduct nursing mother 40 days after childbirth in Abuja. The kidnapping is heavy in Abuja as we speak. So if you think that Abuja is a secure place for you, think again. These terrorists have taken charge of everywhere, and they are not stopping, not today, not tomorrow, not anytime. Look at this one. Imo Governor CSO. Imo Governor CSO, another officer, get under undue ACP promotion amid 10 million bribery allegation. You see? That is what they do. Hope Uzodinma, a criminal. Look at it. Undue ACP promotion amid 10 million bribery allegation. You see? That is what he does. Hope Uzodinma, he can promote anybody. Promoting people who are going to work with him to bring the Fulanis to take over our land. That is what Hope Uzodinma is doing. Look at it. Look at it. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, CSO, another officer, gets undue ACP promotion. Undue ACP promotion. That is how they promote those people they know they can use for. Once people are unduly promoted, you know what they are going to do? They will use them for fraud, they will use them for criminality. And these are the people that the Fulanis have planted among us. So when they tell you that election will save you, go and meet your governor, go and meet your politician, these are the people that are telling you to go and meet. Corrupt individuals that doesn't have conscience. 70,000 minimum wage, too poor, disgraceful, will encourage corruption, federal workers. That is it. Group call for justice after riverman allegedly killed brother over witchcraft claim. You can imagine. You are killing your brother because of witchcraft claim. No evidence. 42 Nigerians beaten, robbed, sick in Mozambique detention. NIDCOM condemns xenophobic arrest. That's how Nigerians are suffering everywhere. This idiot, Abike Dabiri, she will just talk about it. If it's about bigotry now, she will come out and fight for bigotry. Nonsense. Nigerian judge not above investigation, says Odenkalo amid probe of Chief Judge Toho. All their judges, they are the worst. Northern Nigeria must wake up before it is too late. Hamza Nuhu Dantazo Esco. No, they shouldn't wake up. They should keep on sleeping. Tenant lament over alleged harassment as late Maggie family lack 150 shop despite court order. Lost 150 shop despite court order. Nobody obeys. Everybody is doing his own thing in Nigeria. Iranian Red Crescent filed ICC complaint accuses U.S. Israel of war crime in civilian attack. That's what they always do. When you see where the war crime is committed, you will not do anything. The war crime that Nigerian government is committing against Biafrans, what are you doing about it? Are you not seeing it? Amnesty International have the evidence. Human rights organizations have the evidence. We have provided so much evidence. What have you done? Nothing. Iranian Red Crescent filed ICC complaint accuses U.S. Israel of war crime in civilian attack. That is what they do. Destruction all the way. Nonsense. Lagos community accused Ikeja Electric of neglect, threatened protest over power outage. Power outage in Nigeria is no longer in use, is something you see daily. Ghana considered land roads to evacuate citizens from Qatar amid Middle East crisis. That is it. Ghana is already planning to evacuate their citizens from Qatar. That is it. Kansas City International Airport evacuates over bomb threat, later reopened. Bandit abduct imam, security guard, and son along Okedo Bambala Road in Kwara. Kwara is still burning. Kwara, Yoruba land is still burning, and nothing can be done about it. Nobody is doing anything. Tinubu can't do anything, no matter what you think. They cannot, because he has reached agreement with the devil. And when you enter into agreement with the devil, you face the consequence. Tinubu president reward ex-minister Odua APC defection with 1.554 billion settlement deal in 5 billion fraud case. You won't try. You jump ship. Once you jump ship, they forget your trial. Odua don't reach deal now. That's the Nigeria they tell you to. Nigeria will never be good. I pray that we get out of this zone. Group criticizes Tinubu pro-rich policies as homeless youth increase along Lagos rail corridor. That is it. Mojtaba Kameni named Iran new supreme leader after father's death in U.S.-Israel airstrike. Adamawa governor declares 24 hours curfew as militia kills core in Lamude community. That's Nigerian news. Death everywhere. Woman arrested after firing shot at Rihanna's Los Angeles mansion while singer was home. Exclusive. Wike loyalists granted special police promotion for 20 million deployed to key Rivers unit ahead of 2027 election. The same thing Hope Uzodinma is doing. The same promotion that Hope Uzodinma is doing to the people they are going to use for 2027. They are already showing it. Mad people everywhere. Bandit attack Kaduna community, kill several residents, abduct others in night raid. That is the zoo for you. That is the zoo for you. Abuja man allegedly detained by NSCCC after dispute with neighbor who is cops officer. Fire breakout at Federal Secretariat in Abuja. Who know the one they burn? Because this is what they do. Whenever they steal money, they set the place on fire. Anytime you see Secretariat burning, they want to make a cover-up. We have seen it before. This is not the first time. ICPC traces multi-million-dollar luxury villa apartment in Egypt to ex-Kaduna Governor El-Rufai. We know all of them, they have properties abroad. Everybody knows. But only when they don't agree with the opposition party, that is when you talk about it. Niger Assembly order withhold of allowance for 7 councillors over speaker impeachment. Man alleges negligence at Mina PHC, says daughter left unattended during emergency. Bad news everywhere in Nigeria. Showore urges IGP Disu to probe alleged Anambra police organ harvesting ring. Free whistleblower. That is it. You blow whistle, you go in, and the people who commit the crime will be still enjoying. Be a whistleblower in Nigeria and you find yourself in prison. Firefighter battle fire at head of service building in Abuja Federal Secretariat. What a shame. Bandits storm Katsina community, abduct residents, including groom to be. Days to wedding, loot homes. Because we won't marry, and they go back, they go carry her for in house, where they prepare for marriage. Though, Kwara Corps members are laying monthly 2,500 newspaper fee extortion by Ilorin West Council officials. And so, Abuja Federal Secretariat fire detained to cause for alarm. No cause for alarm. Contained, no cause for alarm, says fire service. You don't already burn what you want burn. Documents don't burn already. Wait for the news when it will come. Many soldiers, civilians fear death as Boko Haram terrorists invade the military base. Another invasion. Every time they invade military base. Every time. And they will tell you they are repenting. Repentant Boko Haram. This one, the latest one, another invasion of military base. Every blessed day. But at the end of the day, what do you see? The only news you hear is that they are repenting. If you repent and come back, you can be a president. We know. And that is why we don't want to be in a country where a repentant terrorist will be a president. We don't want to be part of it. So, my fellow Biafran, that's all we have for the day. Hopefully, maybe later in the evening, we'll still come back again with some update. I thank you all for being part of the program. May Chukwu Okike continue to guide and protect every one of you that is standing strong. I know the challenges are very hard. It is not easy. The agitation of today is not easy. If you are not committed, if you do not have the grace, you cannot stand. Every one of us is feeling that challenges, including you that is watching me and myself that is here. We must continue to be strong. Never give up. There is light at the end of the tunnel. What is seeking called Amy? And I believe it's going to end in praise. May Chukwu Okike guide and protect all of you. May Chukwu Okike guide and protect our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa. Thank you so much for being part of the program. See you later in the day. Remain blessed.
The very oldest language on the face of this earth. Chukwu Okike abịama pụrụ ihe niile Chineke na-enye ndị nsọ na-efe wee na-akpụ isi ala nye anyị na-agọzi aha nsọ ya mgbe niile. Onye anyị na-aja mma wee ka mmadụ itozu ezigharị. Anyị anaghị efe arụsị, ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye kere ihe niile kere eke ma ọ bụ onye kere ya. Ọ bụ ya mere ndị Igbo ndị nsọ na-akpụ ha na-akpụ isi ala mmiri ọbụladị ndị okenye ụlọ abụọ ndị na-atụ ọla edo n'ụtụtụ a ehihie abalị n'ụwa niile wee na-arịọ gị mma wee na-arịọ ka iwe wecha n'ebe anyị wee na-arịọ gị ezi ebube gị ngozi iwetinye ọgbara n'etiti ndị iro ka ha rapụ ndị ka ha wepụta anyị onye bụ nna Chineke na ndị nsọ ka aka nsị ndị ga-etu a wee baa ihe obodo kwesịrị isi uwe laa ya n'ihi anyị wee na-arịọ gị onye na-adịgide ma oge ebighị biko nụ ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee dị ọsọ ọsọ na nke na ụmụ ga adakwa na nrụ anyị wee na-arịọ gị iwe na-adịgide nlekọta nwanne na nwanne ibe ịhụnanya nke pụrụ iche onye iwe tinye ụmụ ya ezi mmụọ nke eziokwu oge anyị aka ajọ ihe na ndụ anyị bulie aha nsọ n'elu ise ise ise.
But you know what? They would like you to believe that Simon Ekpa is the cause of it. No. I am the solution, and the only way they can get to you is by kicking me out, which is not possible. I have come. Look with you. After I am done with Nigeria, Biafra will be free and enjoy freedom. Biafra will know the importance of freedom and what happens in 5 years to come. Thank you.